Genuinely, Cam Skattebo is 101. I don't think I've ever seen a player like him. So what in the hell got him here? Cam was born in Rio Linda, California, in the Sacramento County on February 5th, 2002, and grew up doing whatever was needed out of him on the football field. His father, Leo, coached Cam growing up and instilled the versatility by putting Cam wherever he was needed. If the quarterback was hurt, he put Cam in. If the receiver was hurt, he put someone else at quarterback to throw Cam the ball. That belief from his father was a massive motivator early on for Cam, and it started really early. He wasn't even 2 yet, maybe 18 or 19 months, when, as his father Leo said, he rides his bike down the street, about 10 cars back. He comes riding back from the very first time ever being on a bicycle from the other side of the street, and was standing on the seat. That's when I knew he was just a little bit different than everybody else. Cam's older brother, Leo Jr., was the first in the family to pursue football, and Cam learned a lot from seeing him continue to grind. As he would say, knowing he didn't have the athletic ability or the physique that he wanted to be able to compete, but still grinding every day, he showed me a lot and showed me how to keep pushing. Their dad had a major impact in each of their sons' early football careers, as he coached them up until high school, which helped develop Cam's insane work ethic and focus from the get-go. As Cam said, when I was 5 years old, my dad used to grab me by my face mask, screaming in my face. All you remember when you're little is that spit hitting your face while you're getting yelled at, which is awesome. We look back at it as adults, me and my buddies. It was good times, and that's the things you remember. Just from that, you could get a bit of an idea of how his father's coaching style was aggressive. But it worked, as they just kept winning. And in his first 4 years that he coached Sam, his team never lost a game, which is insane. But you gotta understand that his dad is no joke. Cameron was a running back from 7 years old until around 10, 11 years old, Leo said. His best friend was a quarterback and then got hurt at around 10 years old and didn't play for a few years. So then I made Cameron the quarterback. That decision to move Cam to quarterback was strategic to match the scheme for the local Rio Linda High School, even 4 years before he would begin to play there. Rio Linda was a running team when Cameron was about 10. Then we brought in a coach to the high school that had more of a spread offense. It was a quarterback that kind of ran around and threw the ball. So the head coach of Rio Linda's varsity team wanted Cameron to play that position. Funny enough, in the meantime, a new coach took the reins by the time that Cam was in high school, which was more of a power running scheme, which, as you've probably seen, is literally perfect for a guy like Cam, at a school where practically his entire family went before him and after him. Even though the school football program was D5 and Cam could have transferred to a bigger school to get more eyes on him, his father Leo said, "Me as a parent thought that it doesn't matter what school you go to. As long as you perform, people will find you where you're at." Cam started playing varsity as a sophomore and started off the season strong in a game with nearly 130 rushing yards and only 12 carries, as he led his team to a 50-37 win in what was a breakthrough performance for a season where he put up just under 1,000 yards rushing, along with nearly 300 through the air. And then on the other side, he had over 70 tackles as a linebacker. Although he put together an impressive campaign in only his first year on varsity, since the team only finished 7-5, Cam went back to work with his dad, who would say, "Sophomore to junior year we talked, and we needed to fix some things. We needed to get him quicker, we needed to get him a little fitter." While Cam simply said, "My mindset wasn't right." A seemingly minor, but actually massive detail when it came to the rest of his time in high school and the years past that. That summer, Cam started training under Lem Adams at GameFit Sacramento, which helped mold Cam into a versatile weapon that could dominate defenders in any way possible. When we got Cam, he was more of a physical runner, Adams said. Not like super duper athletic. My goal was to make sure I applied athleticism to him, got his stiffness out of him, and taught him to be super versatile, catching the ball. The goal is to not get hit. As a running back, to be able to last, you gotta be able to take a pounding. You need to be able to move from people. You have to be able to be explosive, and you gotta learn how to maneuver and have good agility and balance. That training was huge for Cam, as he started to realize just how dominant he could be on the football field. And so he started treating his body like he was a D1 athlete, going to cryotherapy, constantly working. And it allowed his body to handle the wear and tear of the football season, unlike any of the guys around him. And it showed.
That last push through where he came out of that and went for the goal line, I think that was like, oh my goodness, is this actually happening?
As a junior, Cam went nuclear with a ridiculous 3,550 rushing yards at an insane 11.2 yards per carry, along with 42 rushing touchdowns, which ranked him second in the entire country for yards on the ground. I mean, we're talking second of everyone in high school football. Insane. Growing up, Cam watched WWE with his late grandfather, and so his teammates started to refer to him as Nature Boy, a nod to Ric Flair, and he embraced it, screaming out the trademark, "Woo! Woo!" when he trucked defenders. I mean, Cam was just different. And so fast forward to the Division V championship game, and all of his insane performances came to a head as he put up 393 yards and 5 touchdowns to help his team cap off a 13-2 season with a title. As Cam was just in a different galaxy than anyone around him, as you can probably already tell. Surprisingly enough, even after what was a video game kind of season by Cam, there wasn't much traction from the next level, even after taking unofficial visits to all sorts of schools and notifying them that he'd be on campus. Deshaun Foster, who was then the running backs coach and now the UCLA head coach, had a particularly motivating conversation with the Skattebos. As according to Leo, we went down to UCLA after Cameron's junior year. We went to talk to Foster, and he basically told me, "Your son's playing the wrong position. He's a white kid. He shouldn't be playing running back." I'm like, "Do you not watch the tape?" He's like, "Yeah, but he's not going to be able to play here." You don't even need to have watched the last few minutes of this video to know that someone saying this stuff to a person like Cam is jet fuel, no matter what the hell lied ahead.
They get Skattebo involved from the pass game. He's knocking people over.
Finally, after a parade of failed attempts because of everyone and their mother overlooking Cam, when he showed out at the Sacramento State camp is when he got his shot. The head coach took a liking to Cam and really showed that he cared, talking to him as they walked around campus, just trying to understand the person more than simply the player. The coach Taylor's belief and care resonated with the Skattebos and led to Cam committing to the Sacramento State Hornets out of high school. Once again, a testament to what his father Leo said. Me as a parent thought it didn't matter what school you go to. As long as you perform, people will find you where you're at. Sacramento State was the only Division I school to offer Cam, which for one is insane because of his play on the field, but I'm sure it was only added motivation for this stud. At Sac State, Cam found a lot more of the group connection like he had grown up with the team, which is tougher in the bigger programs, but a lot more common in lower FCS schools. I was there for 3 years, and 60 to 70 guys were the same for 3 years. It was really cool to have that type of connection. At a smaller school like that, you don't feel like, oh, I'm at a big school, I can just leave whenever I want. When you're at a small school, you have something to prove. And he began to prove it as only a freshman, as he rushed for 520 yards and 6 touchdowns on only 57 carries, earning third team All-Big Sky honors on less than 60 carries. Just wild. And helped the team win the conference as he added an edge to a team that the other players just fed off of. The following season, Cam was given a much larger slice of the offense, and it showed as he rushed for just under 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns, along with 1 passing touchdown, and somehow he managed to return an onside kick for a touchdown.
Onside kick try, picked up by Sacramento State, and nearly turning it to 6 at the other end. What a run!
Which honestly may be the most insane part. But nonetheless, he was a Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year and an offensive FCS All-American, already dominant in only his second season. Following a great year for both Cam and the team, the head coach Taylor left for Stanford, and so Cam decided to enter his name in the transfer portal in hopes of getting the attention at the next level in his last 2 years of eligibility. When Troy Smith left Sacramento State, it wasn't being at a small school, Skattebo said, about his decision to transfer. It was just that he recruited me and he gave me the opportunity. He went to Stanford, I took my next opportunity and came to ASU. Much like how it was when he chose Sac State, it was effort and drive that got Cam's attention. So when ASU's running back coach, Aguano, flew up to Sacramento and then came to my house, it really spoke to Cam, Leo, and the rest of the family. And so the young and energetic head coach in Kenny Dillingham was a nail in the coffin. We flew down to Tempe and met Dillingham, Leo said. The vibe to him, even though he was very young, was just very enthusiastic. That's what Cameron needed, meeting someone that's a little more exciting and a little more fun. He hadn't had that before. At Arizona State, it didn't take long for Cam to make his impact on the field. As in week 4 of his first year there, against USC, he passed for 42 yards, rushed for 111, and then had 79 yards receiving with 2 total touchdowns on the day. An absolutely incredible performance, and a good example of how that versatility his father instilled in him at an early age made Cam such a unique player, even against some big-name schools full of highly recruited players. That year, he finished the season with 783 yards rushing with 9 touchdowns on the ground, along with 286 receiving and another touchdown through the year, along with a passing touchdown and over 330 punt return yards. Quite the all-around year, but it was only an appetizer for what would come the following season.
Skattebo's wide open. They've got it, and much, much more.
All of the work and focus and years of grinding under the radar came to a head in 2024. In what was going to be Cam's last season in college football, he put it all out on the field. And it was really in week 2 where he set the tone against Mississippi State, as he had over 260 yards rushing and was the AP National Player of the Week. But that was only the beginning, as he strung together great performance after great performance, leading what was a 3-9 Sun Devils team the year before to a 10-2 record and an appearance in the Big 12 Championship, where they destroyed Iowa State 45-19 behind 170 yards and 2 touchdowns by Cam. That win earned them a bid into the college football playoff, where they eventually got matched up against Texas in the Peach Bowl. And as you could guess, they were overlooked and counted out, much like how Cam was his entire life. But in what was a game for the ages, Cam was able to catch the attention of the football world with his versatility and his tenacity that made it apparent just how unique a talent he was. So although they barely lost, his play spoke for itself. That game, Cam was a leading rusher and receiver for the Sun Devils, with over 140 on the ground and just under 100 through the air. against a Texas team with all sorts of 4- and 5-star talent. But anyone who saw that game would know that Cam was one of, if not the best players on the football field. So even though his college career ended on a loss, the next level was well aware of his talent. That year, Cam was able to put up an impressive over 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns on the ground, along with just over 600 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air. Unsurprisingly, he broke the ASU single-season rushing record and was the first ASU player to break 2,000 yards of scrimmage in a single season, as he finished 5th in the Heisman voting. An overall great year, but the timing of Ashton Jeanty's one-of-a-kind season outshined Cam's performance, which led to him being looked over a bit going into the draft. But here's the thing, Cam just plays football, so all he needed was an opportunity, and he got it.
With the 105th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Cam Skattebo.
Cam was taken in the 4th round, 105th overall by the New York Football Giants, joining one of the most unique locker rooms in football history, with quarterbacks Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart. Cam came in the same class as Jackson, and although both were not expected to do anything crazy as a rookie, they already both have gotten their spot under the spotlight, albeit Cam's was a bit before Jackson's.
They get Skattebo involved from a pass game. He's knocking people over. Skattebo.
After a negative rushing and yet tone-setting performance against Washington, Cam gained some momentum against Dallas, where he had his first touchdown in the NFL, as people started to catch on to just how unique a player he was. But when he really broke out was against Kansas City at home.
14. Skattebo inside. Skattebo to the goal line. Oh!
Even though the rest of the offense was pretty much non-existent, Cam did his thing against the Chiefs with 60 yards rushing and another 60 through the air, along with his 2nd touchdown of the season. It was quite the performance in only his 3rd game, and so going against LA the following week in what was Jackson Dart's debut, people were curious about how he'd play, considering that the Chargers were undefeated with a pretty stout defense. But Cam and Dart did their thing.
7 before that. Here's a run again by Dart. 1st and 10. He'll take it in. His first career touchdown.
Although Cam didn't get in the end zone, him and Jackson started the creatine Caucasian bandwagon in New York with a major upset against LA, as it seemed like the new era of New York football was here, and got people excited in New York for the first time since this stuff.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Barkley breaks it to the outside.
Although they took a loss the following week to the Saints, I expect Cam, Jackson, and the rest of the Giants to bounce back and keep building on what they are looking to establish in New York.
Here's Skattebo to the end zone. Touchdown.
Which is incredible to see, and an amazing testament to how far someone like Cam has already come after being counted out time and time again. But here's the thing, you just can't stop the human bowling ball.
100 yards, and this is how he's going to open up the Big 12 championship.
Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and like for more stuff like this, and if not, then don't. But anyway, see you all soon, and God bless.